We spent 2 months exploring Greece this year, island hopping across 11 different spots. And what surprised us most? The islands you don't hear about. Everyone talks about Santorini, but we found places even more beautiful, with water so blue that it doesn't look real, food that is so fresh and delicious that you might think your nonna made it, and prices that didn't break the bank. From eating gyro at the local spots to finding islands that suit completely different types of travellers, we learnt a lot, including what we'd do again and what we definitely wouldn't. In this video, we're sharing the 17 things that we wish we knew before coming to Greece, so you can skip the mistakes and plan your trip like a local. So number one is that Greece can be quite expensive. Now, we spent 2 months here this year, and it definitely hurt the budget.
It's definitely the most expensive place we stayed this year.
It definitely was. I mean, we compared that to Albania and Montenegro, but yeah, you're expecting to pay quite a bit of money, and especially coming from Australia. If you're Australian, the Aussie dollar is so bad at the moment compared to the euro. You pretty much lose half of your money.
Yeah.
So you can expect to pay around maybe 4 to 8 euro for a gyro. Maybe a meal out might range between 10 to 20 euro. You might have a cocktail from around 10 to 15 euro. A beer, maybe 7 euro.
Yeah, about 7 euro depending.
So if you're Australian, you want to double that.
Yeah.
Then you've got transportation. Now you can hire a scooter from around 20 to 30 euro a day, which is fantastic. Cars range from around 30 to 60 euro. You can get an ATV, same thing. They're a bit more expensive,
Yeah,
maybe
they're like
70.
65 to 70
Yeah,
euro.
we've been quoted 80 euros, sometimes even 100, I think, depending on what island you are,
ridiculous.
which is crazy. And then accommodation-wise, of course, it depends how bougie you want it, depends if you're trying to be on a budget, but we haven't found accommodation that is good, that we're happy with, for less than 100 euro a night. But of course, then you can range all the way up to, 200, 300, depending on your budget.
Heap more. We stayed at one that was...
Oh my God, 1,000. We stayed at one that was 1,000, but
we didn't pay
that. So yeah, depending on your budget, obviously, you can spend between maybe 100 euro to 200 euro spending money a day per person as well. On top of that, boat trips and activities.
Yeah.
We did a couple of boat trips and they range from around 150 to 250 euro for like 4 to 8 hours as well.
Yeah. And we drove that ourselves, so we didn't have a captain.
Yeah. So yeah, that gives you a rough estimate of how much you're going to spend here.
Number 2, and probably the most important thing that you'll need when you're in Greece, is to understand the difference between a gyro, souvlaki, and a kebab. Now, the Greeks that watch this won't understand what I'm talking about. But in Australia, when you order a souvlaki, a kebab, or a gyro, they are all the same.
It's the same thing.
They're all the same. They're meat in bread and it's wrapped up. And we were shocked, and we're not the only ones, because we've talked to friends who also ran into this problem when we ordered a kebab and a souvlaki. The souvlaki is literally meat on a stick. So when you order a souvlaki, you're going to get meat on a stick.
No bread.
No bread. And then you can get a gyro, but a gyro is actually just means round. And that is the thing that you see in usual shops, where it spins around and it cooks the meat. That is a gyro. And then in order to get that in a wrap, you have to say gyro in pita. Sometimes. Sometimes they assume.
Exactly, like last night, we didn't say that, and we just got a gyro and it came in a wrap. So it's very confusing.
Very confusing. And then you come to kebab, and kebab is like Middle Eastern. So it's just like minced meat with spices and everything. And it sometimes comes, in a sausage or in a patty. And it sometimes comes in a wrap. But you can get all of these. So you could say souvlaki in pita. You could say kebab in pita, and then you'll get them in a wrap. Or you can get them as portions, and they usually come with like chips and salad. So
heads up.
Hope that helps.
Number 3 is to visit outside of the most busiest and also hottest months if you can. So we call these the shoulder seasons. Now, I know a lot of people are probably thinking, I can't do that. I've got kids and I'm in school, like they're in school holidays, which unfortunately, if you can't time it, then, still go June, July, August. It's still fantastic, or July and August when it's super hot. But if you can, May, June, perfection. September, early October, we're here now, and it's still warm. You sometimes need a bit of a jumper in the morning or like late at night, but otherwise the sun is shining, blue skies, there's hardly any wind. It's just a perfect time, and you get less crowds, and some things are also just a little bit cheaper as well. But be warned, because this time of year, popular restaurants and things like that start to wind down for the end of season.
Yeah,
and we have missed out. We've missed out on we've missed out on like 3 opportunities to eat at a restaurant because they've actually closed for the season. So just bear that in mind.
Yeah. And then number 4 is make sure you learn some Greek words before you come to Greece so that you can fit in or slide in with the locals.
They love it.
They love it. Exactly. It shows you care. The first one is efharisto. That means thank you. That's probably going to be the first thing that you say when you come here. Someone helps you with your bag, efharisto. And then number 2 is kalimera. You say that in the morning, good morning. Everyone says kalimera. It is like so nice. Even at the supermarkets, you walk around down the street, kalimera, kalimera. You're going to have a great time. And then you can also say hello. Yasas is hello. And you can say that for 2 or more people. And you can say yas for 1 person. Also, you can say yaso for 1 person. But this can be actually quite rude to say to elderly people. So you would never say yaso to elderly people. You would actually say yasas. Now, if you're Greek and you think I could improve on that education, let us know in the comments. Would love to hear it.
Number 5 is that you actually can't drink the water here on most of the islands. I think the only place that the water is safe to drink is the mainland, like Athens. But I don't know if we even did then. I don't know if
we did.
Yeah, maybe we did. But everywhere else that we've been, all of the islands, Milos, Naxos, Lefkada, all of that, Crete where we are now, we have to buy bottled water, which is a bit of a pain, lugging it back from the supermarket every time. Yeah. But luckily the government kind of mandate it, and you can't be ripped off with water. So they do have a regulation that it can't be too expensive. So you're looking maybe to pay around 50 to maybe 50 cents to €2 for a big bottle of water.
And one thing is, like, you can drink the water on some of these islands, but can be really salty or like heavily chlorinated and heavily treated. So sometimes the taste is like awful. Like we had it in Skiathos, and oh man, it just tasted like chlorine.
Also, another note though, ice is safe in restaurants.
Yeah. Number 6 is how to get around from island to island. So ferries are obviously the best way to get around and the most efficient way to get around. But there's a couple of things that we made little mistakes with. So for most ferries, you need to check in online before you hop onto the ferry. And we got caught out in Milos
that was awful.
When we went to check in online, and it closed like 1 hour or 2 hours before. And so then we had to run around to find somewhere to print out the ticket.
There was no box office anywhere, like nothing visible. And we were so stressed. People were loading on, but then every now and then you'd see someone running off like the same as us. So we just followed them.
Yeah, and we finally found it and got on. But that was stressful. So just make sure you check in online. And then when you're finding the ferries, there's a couple of websites you can go to find the best ferries and the best prices. Ferry Hopper and Ferry Scanner, both pretty great. I think we used Ferry Hopper the most. And then there's also another thing. You've got the big ferries and the small ferries. I'll put up the names of each so you can have a look. But what you're going to find is if you catch the small ferries on a windy, bumpy day,
no fun.
Awful.
Again, to Milos, we got caught out and people were spewing up everywhere. The attendants were running around with brown paper bags, like giving it to everyone, and it was horrendous.
So you're better off getting one of the bigger boats. It's basically like a cruise ship, and they've got cafes and everything.
Wi-Fi, fantastic. We had the best boat trip from Corfu to Lefkada, I think, or one of those ones, and it was fantastic. I was like, I could stay on this all day.
Yeah,
Wi-Fi, coffee,
the whole
worked.
time.
It was great.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was awesome. Also, do note as well, and we are going to be doing a whole video on like how to choose a Greek island. But if you're on a budget, the Cyclades ferries are just so much more expensive than the Ionians. We were spending around $150 to $200 for ferries between the islands and the Cyclades. That's Australian dollars. And then in Lefkada into the Ionian Islands, it was only around $40. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Number 7 is how to get around the islands once you are there. Now, there are many, many ways. We recommend, if you can, the best way is to get your own mode of transportation. So scooters, like we said, are around 20 to 30 euro a day. Now, you do need a motorbike license for these here. It's not like Asia, so you do need an actual license. And we got knocked back a couple of times from certain places, maybe because we don't have the actual translation.
Yeah, so if you do have a motorbike license or you've got your car license, you should bring an international driver's permit. And, you know, these are just these silly little translations that you have to get in your own country. They cost like $50 or whatever. But then some places will only accept your license if you have the translation, which is just silly. Ridiculous. Yeah. But it's just something that's happened. If you do run into any problems with hiring a car or a motorbike, just go to a different place and ask. And more than likely, you'll be fine. It's just... because
some have insurance rules and some are a bit more obviously uptight, not uptight, just more by the book. So you'll find one. We just had a few times where we had to like go from place to place to finally give us a scooter, but then eventually we found one. Otherwise, of course, a car is a fantastic way to get around. Like we said, you've got ATVs, you've got dune buggies, all of that sort of stuff. Taxis are so expensive here. So expensive. Such a rort. We don't want to keep talking negatively, but we've been ripped off a lot with taxis as well, trying to charge us €100 for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So just be mindful of that. Sometimes you're going to need it, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. And that's when you should just reach out to whoever is hosting you. So if you've got an Airbnb or whatever, reach out to them, and they usually have a number or a WhatsApp for someone or for a company. The prices are still going to probably be expensive, but they'll be half the price as if you flag one down.
Yeah.
They literally just take you for a ride, don't they?
And they don't have Uber. You can use the Uber app in Athens, but it doesn't bring you an Uber car. It just brings you the normal taxis, which were fantastic.
Yeah, but then you know what they're worth.
Yeah, exactly. So that's great. And then most places do have public buses as well. So if you want to get around by buses, they are much more affordable. Just keep in mind they don't take you to like the little nooks and crannies, cool beaches, all of that sort of stuff. So that's why we recommend hiring some sort of transport on your own is the best way to go about it.
Number 8 is money, cash. Greece notoriously love cash, and they don't like paying taxes. And so always carry around a bit of cash with you. The government recently has made it more mandatory for people to have card acceptance. So you can pay card at most places, but then a lot of little stores and stuff will still prefer you to pay cash. So just carry it on board with you.
Yeah, like I think we haven't used cash much at all this trip, but last night we were out to dinner and he's like, cash or card? Cash is 10% discount. So just keep that in mind if you do want a bit of it. Number 9 is how to choose your Greek island. Now there are over 200 Greek islands, so it is a really, really, really tough decision.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I think if it's your first Greek holiday, I mean, the Cyclades are the most popular. It's probably ones you've heard of: Milos, Naxos, Santorini, Mykonos.
Yeah.
If you want a party, you go to Mykonos, you go to Eos. If you want like beautiful buildings, just like amazing first Greek holiday experience, you know, Milos, Santorini, stunning, but just keep in mind Santorini is so busy now. So we would encourage you to look at other options. Like we loved the Ionian Islands, which is Lefkada, Kefalonia and Zakynthos. The water is just so blue. We've never seen anything like it in our entire life, like the most beautiful beaches. So if you love beaches, we would recommend going to Ionian Islands. Also, just going to say, like, we're doing a whole video on this soon about which one to choose. So if you are planning a trip, make sure you hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss that video. It's going to be filled with information that's really going to help you plan your trip. And then, of course, you've got other beautiful islands like Skopolis, Skiathos. If you love Mamma Mia, like that is where you go. There's tours, there's like shows you where all the movies and stuff were. And then you've got Crete, which we are now. Like this is kind of like it's very popular with the Greek people, but like we hadn't really heard how good it was until this trip, and it's just fantastic.
It's already blown us away. There's so much to do on this island. Yeah. It's incredible. And the food on this island is amazing. Fantastic. Yeah.
And then of course, like there's other things, like if you don't have a car and you want an island that's really walkable, you've got Simi, you've got Hydra, and then you've got Koufosini. So yeah, we're going to do a whole video on this soon. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out.
Number 10 is a funny one that people don't realize when they come to Greece. But like Asia, you have to not flush your toilet paper down the toilet. You need to put it in the bin. And it's a surprise to some people, but lots of the pipes here are quite old. And so, you know, unlike other European cities where it's actually fine and they've upgraded everything, Greece is a little behind.
Yeah.
So just make sure, putting that stuff in the bin and you won't flood your Airbnb.
Number 11 is that you have to try all of the amazing Greek food. I could just, that's why I love Greece so much. I think the food is just fantastic and awesome. I could eat it every single day. Like even just a Greek salad is just so yummy, but you've got obviously your typical gyros, I still can't say it. Gyros, which is obviously the meat in the wrap, so good with chippies, just absolute heaven. Then you've got dakos. Now we didn't know what dakos was before this trip, but it's like a rusk with tomato puree, cheese and some herbs on top. It is just fantastic. You've got moussaka. Many moussakas.
The bechamel sauce on meat, on eggplant. It's the perfect combination, isn't it?
It's to die for. Then you've got your souvlaki meat skewers, just amazing meat. We've got, what else have we got? Baklava. Oh my God. And each area has their own specialties. Like we're in Crete at the moment and Cretan dakos is like really, really, really good here. We couldn't really find dakos in the Ionian Islands, so correct me if I'm wrong, but we didn't really come across that. So every area has its specialties, so just make sure you kind of look that up when you're there, so that you can dive into the local food.
Number 12 is hire your own boat. We've done this 3 or 4 times now in lots of different islands, but you're able to hire a boat without a license here in Greece, and it is the most fun you'll ever have. It's the perfect way to explore the water, find little private beaches, and just have the best day ever. You can pack your own lunch and pack your own wines and have a lunch on the beach, or you can go to like these secret tavernas that are only accessible by boat.
Yeah, we had so many of them.
So many. One of our favorites was in Skiathos, and we had the most amazing food. And actually, there were 2 places in Skiathos, both
great.
Only accessible by boat. And you have to check out the video on that. But they were just incredible. So much fun. We parked up, swam to shore, ate some awesome food, had a couple of cocktails. Back in the boat, onto the next. How good is that?
And one other time though, recently we're in, was it Crete? No, I can't remember. Kefalonia. Sorry, we've done a couple. But this is probably one thing that you need to be wary about of Greece as well. The bees.
Yeah.
Actually, it depends the time of year, and I haven't seen them here as much.
Exactly, yeah.
But in the Ionian Islands in September, there's lots of bees. So if you don't like bees, but I hate bees, so we went on one cruise and we didn't bring food. We jumped off, went to the taverna, and there were bees everywhere. So I didn't really enjoy the day because I was so scared of bees. We parked our boat. There was not even any food, and like 20 bees came at us and we're just like hovering around, and that was quite scary. So just be careful of bees. Number 13 is that it's going to be really busy. So if you want to beat the crowds, our recommendation is get up early and go to places before it gets too hot and before it gets too busy. One example is Lalaria Beach in Skiathos. It was so beautiful. Luckily, that was the day that we hired our own boat. So we got out there. Even the boat hire person who we hired it off was like, start your cruise at 10. And I was like, no, can we have it at 8, please? Yeah. So we got there by 9 and we had the beach all to ourselves, Lalaria Beach, one of the most stunning beaches we've ever seen. And we were there for about 20 minutes and then all the boats started rocking up and the beach was filled. So go early, and as well places like little towns like Plakos in Milos, like that crowds really easily. It's just like if you want the monuments, even in Athens, go early because you're going to beat the crowds.
Yeah, and you'll find like so many people won't go before 10 o'clock. So like it's a significant difference if you go just before 10 and then after 10. Number 14 is you need to understand how like the vibe of eating and drinking is in Greece, because there's a big coffee culture and a big eating culture, and people seem to go to bakeries and they go to tavernas and they spend a long time. That's the idea. You go to a taverna or you'll go to a bakery and you'll order some meze, which is like lots of little dishes, and you'll share the meze. And it's not really a drinking culture in Greece. It's more of a food and conversation culture. So you'll have a couple of drinks, maybe a couple of ouzos, but mainly you're just going to pick at the food and talk and enjoy each other's company, which I think is a much better, beautiful way of, having an afternoon.
Yeah,
right?
it's far more
I really
relaxed,
love it.
I think, and family-driven and, conversation-driven, which, it's really cool. We love it. Tip number 15 is to look out for the smaller islands around the main popular islands. Now, a lot of the time, these islands are actually called whatever island. So, for example, Paros, we were in Paros and we took a day trip to Paros. It was like a 5-minute ferry. We got on and like literally zipped across, and we spent the whole day there, hired a bike, took our bike across, explored such cool caves, amazing beaches. It was so much more quiet, had some amazing food. We had the best day in Paros. And it was just, such a vibe because less crowds, less, it was just far more enjoyable. You've got like Naxos, anti-Naxos. There's so many. There's Paxos, anti-Paxos. So just take a look at the map maybe when you are planning your trip. And if you can fit in like a day trip, go for it. Otherwise, maybe even stay on that island and then do a day trip to the main one because you're going to get less crowds. We kind of wish we did that in Paros versus anti-Paros. We would have rather stayed on anti-Paros and then gone to the day.
Number 16 is that all Greek islands are beautiful. And if you're just looking for a Greek experience, you just want to go and hang by the beach and, visit cute little villages, all of them are fantastic.
They're all
you
wonderful.
don't need to go to the really popular ones to have a Greek experience. You can go to any of them and you'll get beautiful blue water. You will get absolutely fantastic food, and you'll have just a really amazing time. So don't get caught up in like booking what everyone's saying to book. Just find a little island, head over there and enjoy your couple of weeks holiday.
So in saying that, what are your 3 favorite Greek islands?
That's tough, but I think Lefkada's obviously up there as one of our favorite
Yes,
Greek
we had
islands,
so
or
much
the
fun.
favorite.
Yeah.
Crete right now, we haven't explored many of the beaches, but the food is incredible. There is so much to do on this island.
so
It's
big.
huge. And I really love that. I feel like I could stay here for a long time.
Very livable.
Very livable. And then thirdly would be Skiathos, and that's because I think we stayed in the middle of town. We had a really cute beach to go hang out at, and so we worked, and then during the day we just went lay on the beach and then went for swims, and the water was blue.
Yeah, and it was like the cutest little town, and the Mamma Mia vibe there is just fun.
Then we went and watched Mamma Mia in an open air cinema, and Abby was belted it out.
It was fantastic.
It was so good.
Skiathos was definitely we'll go back to Skiathos, I reckon. We'd go back to Lefkada, Skiathos and Crete, no doubt.
Yeah, at least, yeah.
For sure. And then lastly, number 17 is that Athens is so underrated. We only spent 3 days in Athens and we loved it. We had the best time. Some of the most amazing food, some of the most amazing gyro. Did I say it right?
Yeah, nailed it. Third time's the charm.
Just been repeating it in my head, don't fuck it up. We went to this really cool place called Lake Vuglameni, and it was like a little lake, but beautiful rock formations, mountains, and you can hire a day bed there. We didn't swim because it was a little cold in May. I remember us wearing jumpers that day, but the food was beautiful, and it's just such a cool place to go and hang for the day. It's about 40 minutes out of Athens, so we got a train and a bus there. Really easy though, but it's such a walkable city, and it's just stunning because you're walking through these streets and then all of a sudden there's this ancient archaeological big ruin and you're like, holy shit, people have lived here for thousands of years, and it's just really, really cool, and the people are lovely, and it's so many cool rooftop bars. We just had such a cool, and cool bakeries,
great coffee.
Yeah, we loved it.
And so much euro.
Yeah.
So much euro.
So much euro. So yeah, we recommend Athens. Stay at least 3 days if you can.
Yeah. Now, bonus tip, and this is for anyone traveling to Europe that is not European. You have to be wary of the visa requirements. We were only able to stay 90 days in total within the Schengen European countries. And this is a list of countries. I'll put up the list here. Greece is one of them. So sure you don't overstay your welcome. Otherwise you can cop a fine or even jail time, apparently. And then the other thing is they've just brought in this new ETIAS sort of requirement. So this requirement, I think, is supposed to come into play at the end of 2025. So maybe it's in play now, I don't know. It wasn't when we arrived, but it's something that you have to fill out for non-European passport holders.
Thanks so much, guys, for watching. That is your 17 tips for your Greece holiday. Make sure you subscribe because, again, we've got so many good videos coming out your way, and specifically that Greece, which island to choose one. So watch out for that. We also have a ton of Greece already filmed videos and vlogs. So Tice will link them in the description below for all of the places that we've been. Come and follow us on Instagram here too, because we are much more active there day to day and we love a chat.
Yeah.
And if you ever see us in the street, we actually caught up with a follower last night.
Yeah.
She came up to us at the Athens airport and was like, hey guys, I follow you, blah, 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 blah. And then we were going to Crete on the same plane. So we caught up for dinner. We love it. So come say hi if you see us in the wild.
Yeah. See you guys.
Bye.
Much love.